E4.
This is News 4 with Mike Morken and Teresa Joy. Weather with Joe Wiseman. And sports with Dennis Silva.
Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're with us. Rumors are hyping the possibility that 2 Western hostages might be released by this weekend.
Terrorists believed to be holding most of the hostages say they are sending an emissary to the UN General Secretary. And as David Martin tells us, the mystery middleman may be a former hostage.
Terrorists holding Terry Anderson and Thomas Sutherland say they will send an envoy with an extremely important message to the United Nations within the next 48 hours. In the past, Lebanese terrorists have used hostages, like Frank Reed, to deliver messages. And since the group calling itself Islamic Jihad also released a photo of Anderson, there is speculation the longest hostage ordeal might soon be over. Officials are uncertain whether Anderson is involved, but appear confident at least a few of the 13 Western hostages will come out. For the families, it is the start of another roller coaster ride between hope and despair.
Now, I also have a lot of fearful feelings about it because we just don't know what to expect. And this has been going out for so long, and it seemed so many times like they were just playing games on us.
It is just totally counterproductive to raise the hopes of families, as it's happened over and over again, only to have them destroyed.
The Secretary General of the UN, the man who was supposed to receive this envoy, did not seem to have any idea who it might be.
The only thing I know is what you know, that they have said that they intend to send here a emissary, but I don't know. I haven't heard about it. I haven't heard from them, I mean.
A Tehran newspaper loyal to Iranian President Rafsanjani said today 1 American and 1 British citizen would be released by the weekend. Officials expect the British citizen to be Jack Mann, who disappeared in Beirut in May of 1989. In the past, the Tehran Times has made accurate predictions about hostage releases.
I haven't heard an official word at all.
The message from Islamic Jihad linked the fate of their hostages to that of Shiite Muslims held in this Israeli prison. But there is no evidence a secret deal has been struck with Israel.
If there is no swamp involved, the question is, why would hostages be released now? In some of the past releases, the hostages were in such poor health, it seemed the terrorists were letting them go just so they wouldn't die in captivity. And in fact, the U.S. has received reports that 1 of the 6 American hostages, they don't know which one, is ill.
A new dimension has been added to the anti-abortion demonstrations in Wichita, Kansas, one that takes on a political tone. As Scott Pelley reports, President Bush now has his administration siding in court with the demonstrators against a U.S. federal judge.
Federal court, late this afternoon, the U.S. Justice Department submitted a brief that said federal marshals are being used improperly outside abortion clinics. The brief also argued the federal courts do not have jurisdiction in this abortion dispute.
The United States Department of Justice, the Bush administration, has backed our position 100%.
They're all under arrest for trespass.
For almost a month, Operation Rescue has blockaded 3 Wichita abortion clinics. Almost 2,000 demonstrators have been arrested despite a federal court order banning the blockade. Yesterday, Judge Kelly, a Carter administration appointee, berated Operation Rescue leaders, calling them hypocrites and warning that the Justice Department had agreed to send all of the marshals necessary to keep the clinics open. This morning, marshals from at least 3 states were in place with specific orders from the court to keep the driveways clear and to abruptly remove any trespassing demonstrators. In its brief today, the Justice Department said the judge does not have the authority to tell the marshals how to do their jobs. The brief also called the court's jurisdiction into question, claiming the trespassing charges should be heard in local courts, not federal courts. While the Justice Department brief may be an indicator of the Bush administration's position, it does nothing to change the judge's order that the abortion clinics remain open. Operation Rescue attorneys will use the Justice brief to strengthen their case before a federal appeals court later in the week. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Wichita, Kansas.
Closer to home, a prolonged jail stay may be loosening the tongues of at least 2 lambs of Christ. Cass County State's Attorney John Goff says 2 jailed abortion protesters are interested in settling the charges against them. Goff says he's been negotiating with an attorney for the lambs, and Assistant State's Attorney Connie Cleveland says actions of the federal judge in Wichita, Kansas may be motivating some lambs to cooperate.
I think that doesn't hurt our stance in negotiations, however, when other jurisdictions are handling this and proceeding the same way that we are, and that is that these individuals are to be treated as any other lawbreakers.
Cleveland says she's also putting the finishing touches on an information letter about the lambs to Governor George Sinner's office. An aide to the governor asked for information to answer letters from concerned constituents.
Jail time was brief for the second group of dissidents arrested on the White Earth Indian Reservation. 26 of them are free tonight after being arrested for demonstrating at the tribal office. They were released today on their own recognizance and paid no bail. Authorities from several counties hauled the protesters away last night for trespassing, but the protesters vow they'll get back inside the building when they get a chance. They're accusing tribal leaders of corruption, and they want the government to investigate tribal finances and possible election fraud. Tribal leader Chip Wadena issued a statement today saying that the protesters are not representative of the general White Earth population, and that if they stay in the building after closing time again, they'll be arrested again. People in Hitterdal, Minnesota are using bottled water tonight after the city's water supply was declared unfit for human consumption. The water was contaminated by benzine, which is a component of gasoline. Susan McDonald reports on the new water supply.
Some folks in Hitterdal are taking the water contamination in stride. Senior citizens continued to enjoy afternoon coffee a day after the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency said Hitterdal's water should not be used for drinking or cooking.
I'm sure that I've been drinking it for years and years and years, and I intend to keep right on. It doesn't bother me at all. I've drank Fargo water, but if I can drink that, I can drink this.
But others are more concerned.
Everyone else is saying stuff like they don't think it's that important and stuff, but that's basically all he's been drinking and stuff for the last year or 6 months, you know, and that's all I can have for a year. And I don't really know what it does or anything, they haven't said.
Hitterdal only has 2 wells. This is one of them. One of the wells had been shut off last October because of benzene. And last week, the PCA was notified that Hitterdal's remaining well also had levels of benzene that were higher than the acceptable amount. The PCA says short-term exposure to the levels of contaminants found in Hitterdal's water isn't dangerous. But to be safe, the agency trucked in 4,400 gallons of bottled water.
We hope to provide bottled water for about 4 weeks, and hopefully within that time we'll have some sort of filtration system on the city water so that they will not need bottled water anymore.
The source of the contamination isn't known, but is most likely a leaking underground storage tank. The PCA will look for the source and may attempt to recover costs from the owner. The agency also is considering drilling a new well to give folks in Hitterdal cleaner, uncontaminated water. Susan MacDonald, News 4.
South University merchants in Fargo aren't pleased with the proposed road work, and they told city and state officials what's at stake for them. We'll have that story when we return.
And one of the first co-editors of 60 Minutes and a longtime journalist has died. We'll have that story as well.
The best sandwiches I ever had were in Philadelphia. They took a pile of roast beef that could knock you over, enough onions to make you cry, green peppers. Then, to give it that real Philly touch, they melt this beautiful Monterey Jack or cheddar on top of the whole thing. They call them deli melts. And to this day, the only place you'll find them is in Philadelphia.
Deli melts for a limited time at thousands of Hardee's everywhere, and also Philadelphia.
Like everything else, our bank started as something new. Soon we began to secure ourselves in the community and its traditions. Over the years, we saw steady, planned growth while maintaining those things that make us unique and interesting. Today, our roots run deep and will continue to grow because some things are simply meant to be here for the long run. The bank of your future is here today. We're First National Bank, North Dakota.
Sprung a leak? For the best new ideas in water heaters, call your electric cooperative, one of the Minnkota power systems.
Merchants along Fargo South University Drive say they'd be getting a lousy deal under proposed reconstruction for the well-traveled thoroughfare. More than 60 business people met with city and state representatives late this afternoon to sort through concerns over the $2.5 million project. Merchants are convinced they'd lose parking, access to their storefronts, and even their livelihoods during and after road work. And what's worse, they say, is that they would have to pay huge special assessments.
and close these people down and buy them out. You're going to kill some people. Where's the question about it?
And we know that it's, you know, going to probably have some effect on the business people, but I guess we go through this on any, or most any highway project where...
Today's meeting was part of a so-called protest period for the construction project. City and state officials are urging residents to offer options through August 20th.
Suspected serial killer Jeffery Damhmer has been charged with more murders. Today, Milwaukee, Wisconsin authorities filed 8 counts of first-degree intentional homicide against him. Altogether, Dahmer is charged with a total of 12 murders. He has confessed to 17 killings. Today, the judge increased Dahmer's bail to $5 million.
A correction on a story we aired last night. It concerned a fire in 1980 on a B-52 bomber at the Grand Forks Air Force Base. The wrong file footage was used in that story. We apologize to the United States Air Force for that mistake.
Longtime CBS newsman Harry Reasoner has passed away. He died this evening at a Norwalk, Connecticut hospital of a heart attack. Linda Tyra has more.
Remember 25 years ago when this city stood as
Harry
a symbol
Reasoner
of
joined
defiance
CBS News in
against letting 9 black
1956.
kids into
What he
Central High?
considered to be his best
do.
reporting
I
job
was
came
there.
early on,
You think
the
there'll be
Little
more
Rock
trouble
school
with that?
desegregation story in the late 50s.
Yes, sir, I would.
You don't want Negroes in school, then?
No, sir.
Is that a pretty general attitude? How do you feel about Negroes in school?
Well, I don't think niggers should go to school with the white people. They should stay in their own class.
Is their class different or worse than yours?
It's different. I don't think they belong with us.
Good morning.
From 1961 until 63, Reasoner, along with co-host Mary Thickett, was seen on Calendar, a half-hour live, 5 mornings a week television program produced by CBS News.
Direct from our newsroom in New York, in color, this is the CBS Sunday News with Harry Reasoner.
Reasoner hosted a number of news programs and specials, served as White House correspondent, and anchored the CBS Sunday Night News. But he is best remembered for his work on 60 Minutes, which first aired in 1968 with Reasoner and Mike Wallace as co-hosts.
Good evening. This is 60 Minutes. It's a kind of a magazine for television, which means it has the flexibility and diversity of a magazine adapted to broadcast journalism.
After 14 years with CBS, Reasoner moved to ABC, where he served as co-anchor of the evening news broadcast with Barbara Walters. It was a mismatch, and Reasoner returned to CBS and his beloved 60 Minutes.
What keeps you going is if you're a journalist with a decent liking for your profession, and you can go any place in the world, and you can work with the best producers and cameramen and so on in the world. And then when you get back, the best editors, and then finally with Don Hewitt, who is the best, even if he's occasionally a pain. And then when you finish it, I don't know what, 40 million people watch. What more do you want if you're in journalism? More than 20 years ago, Don Hewitt asked me to come in on a Saturday to tape a pilot for a television news magazine. I said sure, but I also said I didn't think it would fly. I've been wrong a lot, but never so happily wrong.
Harry Reasoner had signed off from 60 Minutes in May. His insightful, tongue-in-cheek style will be sorely missed. Linda Tyra, CBS News.
As wet as it's been, wild oats will be back in full force. So you can wait and use a post-emerge treatment and pay the high price. Or you can stop wild oats now with Fargo, underground, before they steal your yield. Plus, Fargo costs up to $3.50 an acre less than any post-emerge treatment. For wild oats and pigeon grass, choose Buckle. And right now, you'll get 1 free bag with every 10 you buy. See your dealer now.
It's your Dodge dealer's factory-authorized clean sweep clearance. We're clearing out 91 models, and we've got low prices and big cash back on select models. Get $1,000 back on roomy Spirit. Get $1,000 back on mid-size Dakota pickups. $500 back on Caravan. Plus, no extra charge here on select models. Plus, immediate delivery, low down payments on the spot financing. Hurry to the clean sweep clearance now before we're all cleaned out. Rediscover American values.
What's in Chi-Chi's new Sonoran sampler?
burro, a grande burro, and a chimichanga, plus ice cream. So for just $6.99, you get our Sonoran Sampler for a song.
The celebration of food.
All-you-can-eat buffet, $5.49 Monday through Friday.
Well, Joe, I was thinking we'd have to wait till Wednesday night for the thunderstorms, but it sounds to me like they're quickly approaching.
Yeah, they're out in the western part of North Dakota now. Things here in the Red River Valley are pretty quiet, but I think by either very late tonight or perhaps by mid-morning, things could get rather wet across the Red River Valley. Right now in Fargo Moorhead, it's dry, 67 degrees under a partly cloudy sky. Our dew point is 53, humidity 61%. The pressure on the rise at 30.17, southeast winds at 9 miles an hour. In Grand Forks, partly cloudy and 69. The dew point is 59. Humidity 70%. The pressure's rising. Southeast winds at 6 miles an hour. It was a mild one today in Fargo Moorhead, but not all that hot. 76 was the high. The morning low 65. Averages 83 and 59. Record extremes 142. Well, across the tri-state region right now, temperatures are very mild. We see 60s across most of Minnesota with 58 right now at Grand Marais. Out in the western parts of North and South Dakota, temperatures mainly in the 70s. We have some big showers and thunderstorms in the western parts of North and South Dakota, especially to the southwest of Williston. These thunderstorms are gradually lifting towards the northeast. The thunderstorms down in South Dakota are gradually lifting towards the north. We also have some light rain in the southern part of Minnesota and the eastern parts of South Dakota, but rather dry with cloudy skies across the Red River Valley. High temperatures today were coolest across southern Minnesota, parts of northeast South Dakota, not very summer-like. Temperatures mainly in the 60s, 70s across the Red River Valley, warmer 80s across the western part of North and South Dakota. Nationwide, a very warm day, especially in the middle of the country. 102 is the high today in Wichita as well as Tulsa, 100 in Tupelo, Mississippi. Across the Great Lakes, a much cooler day with 70s and 80s, but a typically hot summer day down in the desert southwest with 108 in Gila Bend, Arizona. 81, a very warm day up in Seattle. Right now we're looking at a mostly cloudy sky across the western part of North and South Dakota with a solid line of thunderstorms right through the western Dakotas into Nebraska and down into Colorado. We're in Denver. There was some very heavy rain and some street flooding out that way. Thunderstorms in the Pacific Northwest. But during the course of the day, we started off with a few showers and thunderstorms in the northern end of the Red River Valley. They gradually dissipated, and then we see the development of those showers and thunderstorms in the western Dakotas. It's all complements of this area of low pressure right along the Montana-Canada border. That'll slowly drift towards the east over the next 24 hours, gradually increasing the cloud cover over the Red River Valley tonight and giving us a pretty good chance of rain by sunrise tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon, low pressure sits just northwest of the area. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms under a mostly cloudy sky tomorrow. Then by Thursday, really not much change in the weather pattern. This area of low pressure gradually moving towards the east at a very slow clip, keeping rain in the forecast through Thursday. The hot spots tomorrow will be down in the southern plains and the southeast, and rather cool across the Great Lakes and the northeast. For the rest of tonight, becoming cloudy as the night progresses. We have a 20% chance of showers by sunrise. Southeast winds at 5 to 15, overnight lows in the 50s to the low 60s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Southeast winds at 5 to 15, highs in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. Extended forecast, more of the same for Thursday. A little bit of sunshine, but a slight chance of rain. Then dry for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to get warm. Return to summertime on Sunday. High of 91 degrees. And tonight, get well wishes and a weather for umbrella go out to Mike Grippentrock of Frazee. He's recovering nicely from some recent surgery in the Fargo Moorhead area. So get ready for some gray skies, wet streets, and not all that bad, but nonetheless, be prepared.
My garden could use it. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Minnesota looked to continue its winning ways tonight against the Halos of California. Dennis Silva with the latest when we return with Sports 4.
Menards can give your home a new look from top to bottom. Weather screen stains are on sale from America's #1 selling stain, Olympic. Semi-transparent and solid colors are just $12.88 a gallon. And save on top quality IKO asphalt shingles with a 20-year limited warranty. Choose from 4 colors, now just $7.39 a bundle. You'll save a bundle on home improvements at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
The Mavericks. The Monsters. The Budweiser Motorized Extravaganza. Exploding in the Red River Valley Fairgrounds, Saturday, August 17th, featuring 10 awesome giant monster trucks and side-by-side racing, starring the outrageous Grave Digger. Plus, the Hollywood Crashmaster takes his motorcycle straight into the wall of flames. Hold on to your seat. The ground's already shaking. The Mavericks and Monsters are coming. Brought to you by Budweiser.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers.
Just sneaking a peek at the latest on the scoreboard, but I'm sure we'll hear from them right now.
Boy, there are so many runs being scored. I don't know if it's the late summer heat, people are just figuring they're out of it, or a combination of the two, but a lot of runs are being scored. You know, last night the first inning was good to the Twins, but that was with Jeff Gray pitching. Tonight the Angels had Chuck Finley on the hill, while Minnesota finally saw youngster Willie Banks make his first pro start. But tonight they got a slow start because Rod Carew was inducted into the Angels Hall of Fame. Earlier he had his number retired by the Minnesota Twins. Now the Twins look to be retired in the inning, but Louis Soho botches an easy double play, and that proved to be fatal. Doug Rader would just watch this quick 0-0 start evaporated. Chili Davis with dinger number 26. It's a two-run shot. Twins quickly take the lead at 2-0. Now Banks was shaky to start, giving up 3 straight singles. Put California on the board, this one by Wally Joyner. The score Louis Polonia. Now Willie Banks would finally settle down, but right now in the second it is 2-1. So Chili Davis giving the Twins an early lead. Chicago and New York tonight out at New Comiskey Park. It seems like they always play there. And Kevin Moss finally breaking out of his slump, knocks in a couple of runs for the Yanks. They take the early lead. However, Carlton Fisk would come up next, and he's going to bring in a couple of guys. First, he's going to bring in Lance Johnson, and then Tim Rock Raines. They would retake the lead, but as we go to the scoreboard, we see Chicago now is mounting a major lead on the Bronx Bombers. Yankees losing this one in the 8th at 12-5. Seattle and Oakland, Jose Canseco with a monster homer, his 30th of the season. That one early, it is 1-0. Boston or Cleveland in Texas right now, it is 10-7. Big in the 7th as the Rangers are winning. Boston is shut out by KC at 6-0. Toronto beat Detroit. The Tigers now are 5 back of the Blue Jays. And Milwaukee and Baltimore in a slugfest. The Birds win over the Brew Crew at 13-5. With the way the Mets have been playing, they would have been out of any division race by now, but since the Pirates have also fallen on rough times, New York is just 6.5 back in the NL East and in 3rd place. Tonight, Lloyd McClendon puts a shot into this baby. It is a 2-run homer. They quickly take a 2-0 lead. That would hold up because Tomlin had it smoking tonight. Hojo from the right side of the plate goes down swinging. Final score, the Pirates beat the Mets at 3-1. The Mets are reeling. That is their 7th straight loss. In the 8th, a good one going out at Busch. It is the Redbirds and the Expos tied at 6. Cincinnati and Los Angeles, finally the Dodgers win one. They end a 4-game slide. San Francisco loses in a slugfest at the launching pad. Plenty of homers hit there, but the Braves win by 4. Chicago and Philly in extra innings right now. It is tied at 2. And San Diego and Houston in the 7th, 4-1 Astros over the Padres. At the State Legion Baseball Tournament in Jamestown, the West Fargo Patriots lost their opener to Mandan. The Pats played well defensively but struggled at the plate this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Mandan Chiefs were doing well. They mustered up just enough offense to get the job done. Todd Boehm breaks a scoreless tie in the 4th with a solo homer over the short porch in right. Meanwhile, Jake Mayhaw helped out to put the Patriots away, smacking a single pass to drawn in infield to score Eric Glazer as they take the lead. West Fargo had a chance to make things look good in the 9th, but Dave Klossner completed a masterful job on the mound, coaxing this game-ending DP 6-4-3. Final score 5-1, the Chiefs over the Patriots. Mohall lost to Munich tonight by 1, 8-7 is that final score. From games from this afternoon, it was Bismarck and Fargo. The 5th game of this series, both teams had won 2 apiece, but quickly in the first, after 10 guys had batted around, Mike Weezer gets a 3-run shot. They win it big at 18-2. Meanwhile, Jamestown, a team that people better watch out for. This team is coming on. They won the Eastern Division, and right here today they get 14 runs. They go on to beat Dickinson today as they shut them out at 14-0. So tomorrow morning, this is the way the schedule looks. Dickinson will take on West Fargo. Don't forget that this is a double elimination tournament, so these teams can come back up.
Bismarck and Mohall will play at 1. At 4 o'clock, the game of the day, Fargo and Jamestown. It was Jamestown beating Fargo last week. We'll see if Fargo can get some revenge. And Mandan and Munich will play at 7 o'clock. Tip your hat to John Fapier and the rest of the Acceleration Training Program people over at the Red River Sports Medicine. Today they unveiled a new treadmill, but it's not for running. The new device is a treadmill to help out hockey players or any ice-related activity. It's made of ultra-high molecular polyethylene, which is similar to ice, except it's plastic. So now the Acceleration Training Program can help out hockey players direct, and already there's talk of professionals training here in Fargo. So far, the early tests are 100% go.
Well, at first I was kind of skeptical because I didn't think, it'd feel like real ice and that would be natural, but then I tried it and I came in, it looked a lot better and felt like real ice, and so far I've improved.
We're committed to try and help athletes in this region. Anything we can do to bring attention to our young athletes, we want to do that because we think we have some very talented young people up here.
I think a lot of people deserve to tell John Fapier, thank you for bringing a lot of professionals and quality athletes to the Fargo-Moorhead area. People are always saying Fargo doesn't have much to offer. John Fapier brings those people here.
All right, thanks,
Dennis. Well, if you're looking for a unique gift, you'll want to stay with us because when News 4 continues, we're going to have a story of a woman who makes presents specifically for the recipient.
I'd call my house colonial. Well, contemporary colonial, ramblerish with a touch of Spanish. And it gets very, very cold, very, very hot, all on the same day. Well, I was thinking of a window that was round, but kind of squarish, and with a peak. I don't want the usual. It's gotta be me,
Available at Simonson Lumber and Hardware.
Carpet World in Fargo presents the Grand Slam Factory Rebate Sale from Mohawk. Now exclusively at Carpet World, get Grand Slam special savings on 12 of Mohawk's top-performing qualities. In addition, you'll fill the bases with $1 a yard rebate direct from Mohawk, minimum 40 yards. This is a limited-time offer and will not go into extra innings. Now let's recap the highlights. Grand Slam savings, special low prices, $1 a yard rebate, a limited-time offer. It's a Grand Slam of savings at Carpet World, 13th Avenue South, Fargo, the area's exclusive Mohawk Color Center.
Hi, I'm Mel Hubbard. I'd like to invite you to meet Kate Linder, Esther Valentine on The Young and the Restless this Saturday, August the 10th at Sears in Fargo. She'll be here from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I hope you are too.
When it comes to special occasions, gift givers are always in search of something new, something original.
Alan Miller takes us to the source of surprises that are never duplicated.
Let's say your anniversary is coming up. What do you get? Flowers? Maybe some candy? The always reliable greeting card? For something completely different, give Dolores Buckle a call. Her specialty? Poems to fit the occasion, from bowling banquets to bar mitzvahs.
Because it's personalized, with names, the people, and what they have done, and the funny things that have happened to them. And I never embarrass someone in a poem.
Clients need to fill her in on the details, and then she gets to work.
And they give me the information, and I start the poem, and if I'm short something, I call them and say, hey, what kind of a car were you driving when you're out dating, or where was the situation, and that finishes the poem. And
Dolores says she knows what makes a good poem. She warns, don't try to list everyone you know.
Where someone has an anniversary and they say, we have 8 children and they want to name them and 14 grandchildren. That doesn't make for a poem because it gets sing-songy and gets monotonous.
She does it because she likes to make people happy. Here's part of an old classic about her bachelor brother and his roommate.
They bought themselves a trailer house and they bought themselves a broom, which hardly ever got beyond the corner of the room. They said they liked their own cooking. Pork and beans were here to stay, and there's nothing like a good fried egg. But imagine, 3 times a day? No, they didn't mind getting up early.
She says she won't get rich by hiring out her pen, but the joy of Dolores Buckle is to bring back old times again. Alan Miller, News 4.
That's nice. Thanks for joining us tonight.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
That's it, folks. Let's lock it up, please.